So that's now on. So we'll go live.
Right.
Start it whenever you're ready. There you go. To Red vs Blue Soccer 360. I'm your host Paul, a huge Man United fan, along with
Michael, huge Chelsea fan. You can tell by the colours of the shirts.
This podcast is basically going to be all about the English Premier League and all the associated competitions. Michael's being American.
Yep.
I'm English. You might be able to tell by the accents.
Scottish or Australian.
Yeah, I've been accused of that a lot. Australian, Irish.
No Scottish?
Never been accused of being a Scotsman.
Yeah, I think their accent's pretty dynamic and recognizable.
Yeah. So they stand apart. But yeah, you've got an American and an English. We're just basically going to talk about all things football related. And we may also get onto one or two other topics during the course of the season.
Yeah.
This is basically just a quick taster to let you know what's going to be coming. So for that reason, we're just going to pick the Community Shield and take it from there. So today, 15-20 minutes just about the Community Shield and what we can both expect from it, just to give you a quick teaser of how the show's going to evolve over time. First question, how excited are you about the Community Shield?
Oh, what? Oh, very excited, Paul. Very excited. I don't know. I think we discussed this once before, and I guess for me it's more of how the teams come out. If they come out really sluggish and they seem disinterested, then I'm probably going to feel the same exact way. But I'm hoping by halftime or slightly after half, maybe they'll start giving a damn.
Yeah.
But there's also the factor of it was the FA Cup final just a couple months ago. Chelsea may want to actually go out and win.
I think the big draw, as I was growing up and obviously being in England, the big draw was you'd had this huge soccer drought, and it used to be the Charity Shield, it's now the Community Shield, but when it was called the Charity Shield,
I remember.
Basically the Charity Shield told you that football was just around the corner.
It was coming.
So everybody got excited for the event, not for the event itself, but because you knew what was coming next.
The next week, yes.
So hopefully, I think, like you said, because of the FA Cup, I think there might be a little bit of a rivalry in there, but I can't see it being a hugely competitive game.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Chelsea in it a couple of times, whether they won the FA Cup or the league, and it's always been a very similar game. It's just not a lot of excitement. But I think this year with Morata coming in, Costa not being able to play because he's not going to be on the team, and Lacazette coming in, maybe there is a little more excitement just because of the new strikers. Both squads are pinning a lot of hopes on these two new strikers.
My first question to you was, do you think we'll see Batshuayi and Morata? I was focusing on Chelsea first with that being your team.
Yeah, I think Batshuayi is the starter because at the end of last season, as well, I know it's only preseason, but through the whole preseason he's been scoring goals. And a lot of them have been nice goals. They're not just been chipping, they've been outside the box, on the edge of the box, making nice little 1-2 moves with the midfielders who, that's his whole game is going to be relying on the midfielders to produce good balls, and he's putting them away. So I think Batshuayi is going to start. Morata will probably come in sometime in the second half, and I wouldn't be surprised if Conte switches up his actual formation because of that. Because if he finds Murata and Batshuayi together is a good combination, we might actually see a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2.
I think Batshuayi as well is also a perfect fit for Murata. It's like a question further on. I was going to get into Lacazette, but Lacazette is an out-and-out striker.
Yes.
He is a frontman in the true sense of the word.
Yes.
Murata is an all-round centre forward.
Yes.
And I think Murata, along with Batshuayi,
Is a good
could
combination.
prove a frightening combination.
It is.
for
Well,
everybody else.
Murata's 6'3". He's good in the air. He's good at hold-up play, and Batshuayi is incredibly quick, incredibly fast. And I agree with you. I almost look for the 3-5-2 to be coming, just because of the combination of the two, and you're still going to have those overlapping wingers, and you still have the ability to put Hazard and a Willian, and then I don't know how it all is going to work with Bakayoko coming in and N'Golo Kante. I feel like Conte, the coach, has really built his team for the 3-4-3.
Nobody ever complained for an overabundance of options.
No, and Chelsea's in every competition this year, so having two number one strikers is not a bad problem to have, because somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to be out for some kind of extended period of time, whether it be 2 weeks or 2 months. And it's a good problem to have with the way Batshuayi is showing why Chelsea paid $30+ million for him last year.
Yeah.
Because all last year until the end of the season, everybody's like, why the hell do we spend that much money on this guy? What is he here for? And then at the end of the season, you're like, oh, he can score goals. He's pretty good. Okay, I get it. We already know what Murata brings to the table. It's just how well he adapts to the Premier League. And I think you and I talked about this before. Conte talked about him just not being match fit yet, not for the Premier League.
Sometimes you think that's a bit of an excuse.
I worry about that.
And you're always thinking, is this an excuse? Is this an excuse? Because Jose Mourinho did it with what is his name? Mkhitaryan.
Oh yeah.
Same thing. So you start feeling, is this just an excuse not to play this player?
Yeah.
And then Batshuayi turns up and it's like, shit, where did this guy come from?
Yeah.
And then you start thinking, alright, maybe there was truth behind Conte's reasoning of he just was not match fit.
And not even just match fit, but match fit for the Premier League. It's a totally anybody. Okay, if you're watching and you love La Liga or French League or whatever, don't be offended. They all have different strengths. La Liga is all about technicality. It is. It's all about technicality.
No, the reason I'm laughing is living over here in America. One of my favorite phrases that I've seen to just spew 10 times a day is, "No offense, but." And for Michael just to use that phrase.
Oh my God! I took yours. I'm sorry. I just did a Paul.
That's why I just had to start laughing there.
That's good. I didn't even think about it.
I use that constantly. No offense, but. So anyway, you don't want to offend.
I don't want to offend La Liga or the French League. I won't go to Bundesliga because it's still a pretty physical league. It's comparable to the Premier League, how they play. And that's why I don't mind watching it occasionally. But it's just different. The Premier League, and you and I talked about this before, the strikers run at the defenders even when they know they're not going to get the ball. To pressure. They run at the goalie when they know they're not going to get the ball. To pressure. The midfielders are constantly running at players. You don't see that in other leagues consistently. And in the Premier League, no matter if you're the 20th team or the first place team, you do that, because if you don't do that, you are going to lose to teams you shouldn't lose to. You're going to draw with teams you definitely shouldn't draw with, and you're just going to drop points. And everybody knows this, and I think Pep had a problem with that last season.
Yeah.
With his managing style. And I think that's
got
why
a big learning curve.
that's why Jurgen Klopp was so successful last year, because he already played that style. And he already was instilling that in his players from the first year. And that's why I think his second year was as successful as it was, because that's how he played with Dortmund. That's how he won 2 league titles back to back in the Bundesliga. But Pep doesn't like to play that style. He likes to play ticky-tack, pass, and that's why counterattack he just got destroyed. And I don't see it happening any differently this year, by the way.
It's a beautiful way to play it, but as you say, in the Premier League, it isn't sustainable.
No.
Especially not over 90 minutes.
No, and it will win you a lot of matches, but then you'll come up against Burnley at Turf Moor. And Burnley will say, okay, You can have 80% of that ball out in that midfield, and you can look beautiful. But guess what? You're not going to fucking score. We're going to put 10 behind that fucking ball, and we're going to say, have fun. We're going to leave that striker just run around midfield.
Crack on.
Yeah, try to get through this wall of defenders, and we will be organized. And we're going to jump that offside line left and right. You're going to get offside with your little quick guys trying to make those little runs. It doesn't matter. It's okay. He's offside. It looked good, but no goal.
And then we'll let you leave Burnley. For any American watching, Burnley is an absolute fucking shit. It's not somewhere you want to get stuck.
Yeah. When you lose or draw in Burnley, it's a double burn because you had to go there in the first place.
So, alright, the next question was Arsenal's purchases. Not all the purchases. I am interested because of the game
they've only made
against
one.
Chelsea. That's the one I'm asking about.
Lacazette? Yeah.
Sounds somebody else.
Well, they got him for
got
free.
two signings.
Kolasinac, they got for free.
Yeah.
Sai Kolasinac. And he was the defender of the year in the Bundesliga last year. That's a great steal for Arsenal.
Maybe they've made more than one signing. I was just sat there thinking.
No, but they've only made one actual
They've made one
purchase.
purchase, two signings.
Sorry, I was being specific. I apologize.
Fucking hell.
But I think
That's
both of the guys they brought in, there we go, were really great for Arsenal. They really were.
Yeah.
They needed that kind of center forward because they don't respect Giroud, which I don't fully understand.
No, that's something that's always confused me.
Yeah. The guy scores goals.
Yeah.
He starts half the matches and still somehow scores double-digit
scores.
goals. Start him all 38. See what happens. I bet he scores 20 plus.
Yeah.
Bet he does. It's not flashy, but I think it's because it's not the way Arsene Wenger likes to score goals. Because he gets a lot of headers. It's a lot of dirty, gritty, around the box work.
But you shouldn't care.
He shouldn't,
It's
but I
like-
think he does.
I'd
What's
say-
the other explanation?
I'll tell you what, if you could find me one person on this planet who can figure out Arsene Wenger, other than Arsene Wenger,
Hey Scott Fritz, if you're watching, give me some
Nobody-
ideas, buddy, because I know you have some.
Nobody can figure out Arsene Wenger.
No.
As you say, start Giroud, give him 10 successive games.
Oh, he'll give him 5.
Yeah.
And he'll score 4 goals,
That's
and
why I
then he's on the
elaborated
bench
to
for 5. Yeah.
Now just give him this run and see how he takes it. But
Yeah.
no, he's reluctant to do that. And say nobody really understands the way Arsene Wenger thinks, the way he wants his team to play. Now, I can't think of any manager who would rather take 2 world-class goals over 10 scrappy ones. Nobody, if they're being serious.
No.
You know, if
I think the owner of Real Madrid would, but no manager would.
yeah,
That's like a Real Madrid thinking as far as the owner goes. I want flashy, I want style. I mean, why else is Benzema in there? Because Benzema doesn't consistently score goals. But when he does, they look pretty. Because we've talked about this too. I know we're going to a different league, but if Ronaldo slides over into center forward, I feel like he would get what he wants on both ends because he would score lots of goals and it would look pretty because Ronaldo, that's what he does.
yeah.
But that's a whole other thing.
So what did you make of the Lacazette signing? Do you think he's going to provide Arsenal that extra, just that extra few points a season enough to maybe propel them into the conversation come next year?
Not for
Because-
title.
No.
No. I think he'll get him back in the top 4, or he has a chance of getting.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way because we still haven't. We're going to do that on Tuesday, everyone. We're going to make our predictions along with the ins and outs of every squad. and all
I'm a
that.
bit disappointed because today is mainly Arsenal Chelsea. Not
You
a fan of either team.
You don't give a shit about it. I know.
I'll watch it. I'll be up and watch it first thing.
Well,
in the morning.
because like you said, it means next week in 6 days, Premier League is here
Fucking hell,
finally.
we're away at 7. We don't play till Sunday.
Well, that sucks for you.
But yeah.
Well, 7, whatever.
But yeah, I was curious as to whether you thought he would get them into the top title conversation, but no, you don't think he will?
No.
No.
I think if they made 2 other signings of his quality, along with the Kolasinac signing, I would have a different opinion. But just those 2, like if they get Lamar from Monaco, I think that puts them on the edge for maybe being a title contender because that's another attacking player who's quality and has not yet proven to be made of glass because that's also Arsenal's problem as well. They get quality guys, except for Alexis Sanchez, they all get hurt.
Fragile.
Yeah.
I think they're already. I think 3 of the starters are due to miss tomorrow.
Really? Who else? I know Sanchez.
I knew you were going to put me on the spot there.
Well, if you bring it up.
I read the article for like 4 seconds and glossed over it because it didn't feature Man United.
We're going to have to change that for this actual season.
So I will put a lot more research in the future, and I will go through it a lot deeper.
Oh, yeah.
I think apparently they are missing 3 in tomorrow's game.
Let me guess. Walcott? He seems to always be hurt. Oxlade-Chamberlain, just because that he's usually hurt too. Who else? Carzola's still back, I don't think. And he actually...
I think
It's crazy.
Cazorla's one of them.
Cazzola, I feel like if he would have played all last year, they would have easily been top 4. He is the engine room to that midfield. He really is. And it was completely evident because he was not around at all last year.
Just going to go on for a quick tangent now.
Okay.
Because you mentioned the engine room. It's like, without obviously a huge United fan, but throughout the last 10, 15, well, say 5 years previous to now, so the 10 years before that, most of your big winners were always teams with that huge, strong midfielder who dominated, screamed the shit at his team, Vieira, Keane, that kind of player.
Makalele for Chelsea.
Makelele.
Yep.
And teams seem to have forgot that. Nowadays, teams seem to have forgot that, hang on, this is the kind of player that once propelled us to success, but we're not looking for that anymore.
No.
Have you seen any reason for this? Or
I mean, I think the Premier League, I don't think it's having an identity crisis, but I think some of the new managers are trying to force that identity crisis. They want it to change the way the game is played in the Premier League
so
at the top. I think it is. I think they want it
trying to move
like,
it more towards a silky smooth football.
yeah, like Pep.
Yeah.
Pep's a perfect example. Like he doesn't want to play Premier League football.
And that could also indicate some of the reasons why when your teams come up from the Championship and they struggle so much is because you've basically got a team there of 11 workers and you've got this bunch of people who are just trying to play silky smooth football and they struggle to adapt to that.
And that's why sometimes you see those teams beat a Man
Yeah.
City because their
Man
work
City
rate.
can't adapt. Man City just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Why are all these people still running?
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Relentlessly at me. I think they just get annoyed by halftime, and at the half they're like, okay, we're gonna be all right. And then 10 minutes into the second half, they're like, shit, it's still happening. And then somehow, I'm gonna go back to Burnley because they're my favorite as far as that goes. Like, well, I think they drew
like Sean Dyche.
at home. At home, I think Chelsea drew with them 1-1, and they got a goal right at the end, right at the death to get that draw. And I don't like watching them play because it's boring as shit. But I totally respect the fact that Sean Dyche, like you said, or how do you say it?
I say Dyke.
Dyke,
Could be
okay.
offensive, I don't know, but that's just
I mean, if
the way
that's
I
how
usually pronounce
I would
it.
assume that's probably how it's actually pronounced, since you're English and he's English. That makes sense. So Sean Dyche, I do like him as a manager because he realizes what he has and then he sets up his team to compete the best
I like
possible.
a manager who realises the limitations and just think, this is what I've got. We're going to play this way, and just give it everything you've got.
And he
that's
kept them
all
up.
you can ask.
He kept them up.
Yeah.
And I did not think there was any way that was going to happen. I really didn't. But maybe you can do it again. They might be on my drop list. I don't know. I haven't researched it fully yet. But
I've been putting a drop list together before Tuesday.
yeah, Huddersfield Town is definitely on that list. They're definitely in my bottom 3. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
The chances are remote.
They added an American who doesn't even play for the national team. I love you, Danny Williams. You should play for the national team, but just saying. He should. He's a good defensive midfielder. Yeah. It's a whole other discussion. I'm aware.
Yeah. So I've got this question here. It's a bit of a ridiculous question, really. Morata, Lacazette, who's going to be the highest scorer?
Oh, that honestly, I think that's a great question because we know nothing about Morata yet at all. Because he's never, even when he was on loan at Juventus, he didn't play. He played similarly to the way he did with Real Madrid. He didn't play every match. He didn't start every match. We know he can score goals, but we don't know that he can do it over. If he's going to be the number 1 striker, can he do it for 30 plus matches in the Premier League? Can he do it in the
That's
Premier
kind of
League?
fitness.
Yeah, can he do it in the Premier League first of all, but can he do it also from going to play a total of I think 30 or 31 matches last year for Real? Well, if he's the number one striker, he's going to play at least that many Premier League matches, plus Champions League, plus FA Cup if Chelsea gets to the quarters or beyond. He's going to play in 42, 43 matches. Can he do that? I would say this year, and I don't like going against my squad, but I would assume Lacazette's going to score more
Yes.
goals. This year.
I believe Lacazette will score more goals.
Yeah.
Also, for the way the two strikers play, I believe they play differently. I think Arsenal are going to try and feed Lacazette as much as physically possible.
Well, and he's got pretty good pace, and it's going to work really well with Alexis if Sanchez stays, which I think is mostly.
I think he'll be staying.
Yeah, with him on the left, and then probably Walcott on the right. You know, three very speedy guys in the front, and he's going to get a lot of goals because Sanchez creates tons. And then Ozil, you know, half the time when he's playing, he does some pretty incredible things.
Not rule Morata out of surprising a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be one of the people that's surprised. But what I'm trying to say is I wouldn't be completely gobsmacked if he did just
End up with 17 or 18 goals.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be a copycat.
Possibly hitting 20.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's double digits at all. I would kind of expect that. If he gets, you know, mid to high teens, I would be slightly surprised. But if he gets 20 plus, I will be surprised. I'll be very happy because I think we probably win the title if Morata's getting 20 plus. Well, I mean,
Hey, you never know.
the last two times Chelsea won the title, Costa had 20 plus, and Hazard
I
had.
think he might have more
teens.
challenges this season than last season.
I think we're gonna have a lot more. Yes, sir. That's why I would love to see Alexandro come in. Fingers
So-
crossed on that one.
The new penalty format.
Go ahead.
That laugh sums up how I feel about the new penalty format.
Go ahead.
I think it's fucking ridiculous.
All right.
The penalty format's been the way it's been for so long. Your team, my team, your team, my team, your team, my team. It's always been that fucking way.
Makes
And now
sense.
somebody's trying to erase the pressure of. Let's get rid of the pressure of the first team to take a penalty gets a bit of a bonus, a bit of a boost.
Okay.
That's what they're trying to say.
All right. Explain it to the folks here.
Basically, the way that FIFA are going about it, I don't know if it's FIFA or UEFA, but the way they're going about it now is penalties. You get 5 penalties per team, and it's like one team takes the first, second team, one team, second team, one team, second team. But they're saying it's an unfair bias on the first team because if you score, you know exactly where you stand before you take your next penalty. If they miss, there's less pressure. So now they're trying to change that of team A goes, then team B goes, then team B goes again, then team A goes. Basically, Abbott.
So it's 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Is that how it's gonna go?
It's A B B A A B B A.
That's what I'm saying.
Or
1,
1 2
2.
2.
Yeah, that's how
I
it
thought
goes.
you were meaning team 1 and team 2.
No. Sorry.
Yeah, 1 2 2 2 2 2.
Yeah, no.
And it's just ridiculous.
I don't like it
You know,
either.
plus, at some point, you've got your keeper standing there, and your keeper has to save 2 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it is now, and the way it's always been, is your keeper goes there, he makes a save or he doesn't, and then he leaves.
Well,
and then the
honestly,
other keeper goes in.
I feel like that might provide an advantage for the keeper because they can get into a rhythm with back-to-back.
Yeah, but,
There's providing some kind of rhythm there.
but the way it is now, there's no advantage for anybody.
That's what I'm saying. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're doing it this way, then it can provide an advantage for the keeper because they get to stay in place and I know it's a small, tiny, minuscule, maybe not even real advantage, but they could get in some kind of rhythm with back-to-back
But
penalties.
you've also got the advantage of, what game was it the other year where the keeper was going up for the penalty and somebody ran over and whispered in his ear? I will have to look this up.
I do
If
recall
anybody
that.
is watching, I'll look it up. I'll put it in the next podcast, or I'll write it on the blog page.
Or let us know if you know.
Yeah. Somebody came running over to the keeper and said he always shoots left or he always shoots right, and the keeper just saved it.
Yeah. Now I
Uh,
recall that, but I don't
yeah.
remember. I remember that happening because I feel like we talked about it.
But if you're if you're taking 2 penalties straight in a row, you've got to adapt them to 2 different penalty takers. You know, no keeper in the history of football has has ever stood there for 2 direct penalties.
From
So-
2 different.
Yeah, from 2 different takers. So we don't know how it's going to evolve
No.
for either player.
No.
And I do not like the idea. It might be because I'm a bit of a purist. I prefer the game the way it's always been.
No, I think
But
you're right,
I'm,
though.
I'm not liking this.
I don't think
this
it's an
new change.
opinion, Paul. I think it's just fucking true.
Yeah.
Like, the only new invention that I like in the world of football is the goal line technology.
Yeah.
That's it. Beyond that, why would you change something that the majority of the whole world is their favorite fucking sport? There's a reason for that,
Yeah.
people. There's a reason. I know in the United States it's not a huge sport, but the rest of the world seems to think it is. And there's a reason for that. Because the rules are pretty simple.
And fantastic.
Fantastic. Because they're not overbearing. You don't waste a lot of time. You don't have to watch replays. Even the goal line technology, the play does not stop. What happens is, if the ball goes over the line and the referee doesn't call it, the person up in the booth within 10 seconds, or actually like 5 seconds, they'll radio down to the referee and say, that was a goal, and he'll go, beep, point to the center, go, move.
The one thing I will say about goal line technology, I don't know if this is because I'm English and the English national team a
I
lot
was
of
gonna say-
times have been robbed.
I was waiting for you to bring it up.
Well, back when I was in high school, so we're now looking quite a while ago. I'm not going to give my age.
Paul's old.
Quite
He
a while
doesn't look
ago.
old, but he is.
So when I was in high school, I actually had the thought, why do Nike, obviously this is a simplistic thought of a 14-year-old.
That's Nike for Americans. Go ahead.
So this is a simplistic thought of a 14-year-old. But why not embed a sensor in directly in the centre of a ball? And the entire goal, you frame a different sensor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 14 fucking years old. And basically, whenever the ball crosses the line, a red fucking light goes off.
Like in hockey.
And I thought this over 20 years ago. And
It does seem a
now,
pretty basic, simple
it's
concept.
not difficult.
No.
Nike can make fucking football boots that can almost fly. They can do all this with technology. You tell me you cannot place a sensor directly in the centre of a football.
Yeah, they have football boots that weigh like 3 ounces. Shit
So,
like that. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh no.
That was a bit of a segue, but just to let people know, I came up with goal line
He's the
technology.
idea guy.
Came
And
up
the
with it
IT
a long
guy.
time ago.
Yeah. No, it's an excellent idea. And that's the only one I want. I don't want any other ones. I'll be pissed off when the line judge fucks up the offside against my team, and I'll enjoy it when it goes my way. I'll deal with that. And I'll deal with the terrible referee calls when it should be a yellow card and it's a red, or vice versa. That's okay. That's all part of the game. But nothing else needs to be changed.
This year, though, you've also got the new dime.
Now that I do like that one.
I do like
Forgot
that
about that. Forgot about that.
I hope they start Costa.
No, he's not going to play. That's why I said earlier. Okay, so I saw this thing on this guy. I don't remember the name of the individual who used to play for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Do you remember the guy's name? I sent you the article, but I can't remember his name.
I remember the name of I saw the name of the paper. I didn't see the guy's name.
Okay, I think I cut it off when I sent it to you. But an ex-Liverpool player said something to the effect of he wouldn't mind if Chelsea sold Costa to Atletico Madrid and then they loaned him out to Liverpool for 6 months. And I thought, what a great idea, because he'll be like every other Liverpool striker, except for Suarez, who comes to the team and then is gone for 6 matches because he's going to get a diving ban instantly. I would love it. Would love it to see Costa go to Liverpool. He'll score for like 10 goals for him.
Yeah.
I know he will.
Yeah.
But he's also going
He's
to miss.
also going to miss a lot again.
He's going to miss half of the 6 months.
If he plays Premiership football from the beginning of the season, he's going to be the first person to get back.
And if he comes in the second week, he may still be the first person to get banned. Because I feel like guys are going to be aware of it for the first couple of weeks because it's the new rule. But I look for somebody in the first weekend to get hit with it, just for them to make a statement, even if it's not what we would necessarily consider a pure dive.
I really hope that's not the case.
They're going to, though. Every sport I've ever seen, when they introduce a new rule like that, they want to make an example right off the bat.
I really hope that's not the case, because then you've got to live by that example, and quite often that example is a shit example.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough for opening weekend referees to make that kind of decision. And I would assume most of them won't want to make it, but you always know there's a couple of them that like doing that shit.
There's always going to be one or two, but I wouldn't be surprised if basically the referees thought, right, let's just give this a few weeks and see how many of these are called back. And then we can look at the ones that are called back.
That's right. They're going to do it that way.
Yeah.
They're retroactive.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I think,
Okay.
to be honest, you might see it go that way, and the referees actually ignore a few more dives at first.
If I was the head of officiating, that's what I would be telling them. That's an excellent idea.
But that also changes the pace of the game.
True.
You know, so... But I think after 3 or 4 weeks, when the referees have seen some of these replays, and it's like, right, that's what we're looking for, that's what we're looking for, that's not what we're looking for, then hopefully they get into a bit of a steady rhythm.
Yeah. But I love it, because I think of all the leagues, from what I've seen, and I guess I can't put it as a blanket statement, but from what I've seen, my personal opinion, my perspective, the Premier League has the least amount of the blatant diving of all the leagues that I've personally seen. Other people might disagree, that's fine.
I agree with that.
But I feel like that's kind of a known thing, and I like the fact that the Premier League is being proactive with the more prevalent episodes of diving that have been happening over the last few years.
Yeah.
Costa being the most obvious offender. And that's why I don't like him. I never have. I like that he scores goals for Chelsea and he helps us win. But I'm so glad he's not going to be around anymore. And then we brought in Murata. Paul called me and let me know about that, by the way, people. I was very happy on that phone call.
I don't think I've ever heard Michael as giddy as he
Yes! I think that was my initial reaction.
was.
And then
It
giggles.
was a very happy man.
There were giggles. I can't help it, man. He's a young striker that could be 20 plus a year goal scorer for like 5 or 6 years. That's awesome. I was that excited when they got Costa, and then he started diving. So as long as Murata doesn't start diving and keeps the 20 goals, all in, Murata. I'll buy your jersey if you do well this year.
Alright. Now we're going to go to the final bit, which is predictions for tomorrow. Other than not a very challenging game, what's your scoreline prediction for tomorrow?
2-1.
Chelsea?
Yeah, I'm going to say Chelsea. Why not?
2-1 Chelsea?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was 2-1 the other way, because I don't really feel like there's going to be more than that goal scored-wise, but I'm going to say Chelsea. Batshuayi getting one, and then I'm going to go out on the limb and give Fabregas the second.
We're not going to do this every week, I promise, but I am going to agree with Michael and say tomorrow my prediction is 2-1 Chelsea.
Well, there's going to be 10 matches a week. We're going to disagree about
Fritz,
a lot.
if you're watching, I apologise for that.
I don't apologize, Fritz. You already said Arsenal's going to kick our ass, quote unquote, so...
But yeah, I believe tomorrow, I think Chelsea will just edge it. I don't think it's going to be a competitive game. I don't think either team is going to go all out. Nobody wants an injury in the Community Shield.
No.
So yeah, I think that brings us to a close.
Yeah, I think so.
So that brings us to the end of the teaser trailer for Red vs Blue Soccer 360. Thank you all for watching. If you want, this is broadcast live in 360-degree video on YouTube, and it's also live on Facebook, and at the same time the podcast is also available. If you just go to www.redversusbluesoccer360.com, you can find links for anything that you would like to watch. You can also post messages on the Facebook page or messages on the YouTube page.
And if you want to go directly to the YouTube, type in without spaces Red vs Blue Soccer 360, and it will bring it right up. Make sure you do without spaces for the time being. We'll update you when you can go without this. We can add spaces in, but for now, without spaces, it'll go directly to it, and you can watch the 360. And we'll be back on Tuesday, sometime in the evening, probably 8ish.
Yeah, more than likely about 8ish on Tuesday. We'll be live again.
Look for us between 7 and 8. If you want to, you can get on our Facebook, and it will give you the update when we're going live on Facebook. Then you can jump on any platform you want, watch us, or just listen to us if you don't want to see our pretty faces. I mean, mean, that's your loss, but you can do it if you want to. Just saying.
So yeah,
All right, we'll see you on Tuesday.
that's it. Thank you very much.
Right there. Just a quick outro. We don't. They don't need to see us.